Hey, welcome to 9394, a music podcast with me, Travis. I hope you're doing well. You know, I hit a milestone recently and I keep on forgetting to say something about it on the show, but I had my second year anniversary recently. Well, a couple weeks ago. So yay for me. And yay for you, everybody that has helped keep this show going, from everyone that has participated as a listener or a contributor or both. I thank you. I love doing the show. I'm going to do it until I run out of music from the era. I will probably find other eras to dig into if I need to, if I want to. I've got a lot I can do with this show. This format is very flexible despite the rigidity of the name of my podcast. I have back on this show for episode 88, my good buddy Christian Herominski. He's come back on the show not to talk about punk rock, but to talk about Bjork. So check out his and my conversation. Here it is. Hello? Hey, you ready to get started with it?
Sure, man.
Good. All right, let's get going.
All right, man.
All right, Christian, hello. Welcome back to 9394. You are back for your third time?
Third time. Should be more,
Third time.
Man, it has been really hard to pull aside an hour to come and just talk to you, even though I've been to your house many times.
Yeah,
we've I think it was in September we were talking about it.
That's all right. We've saw each other plenty in the meantime and had laughs and beers and whatnot, but now we're sitting down to actually record the episode, and for the first time, not in person. We're not in the same room. I don't really have the same setup that I used to, so I don't really do that as much anymore, which means my dogs are not climbing all over you and all that.
And the audio won't be a problem. You've had me over twice live, and both times audio fucked, so hopefully this time we can make it happen through space.
I have switched platforms. I've used Zoom the entire time I've done this podcast, but as of today, in compliments of good friend of the show and of myself as a human being, Mike Govier, I am now using StreamYard. This is the first time, so hopefully it all works just fine. So which album are we here to finally talk about, my friend?
Bjork's debut album, named Debut, 1994.
Except that it's not her debut album, right?
Well,
there was an album before this.
It's her solo debut, yes. We should specify that because she was in a band called the Sugar Cubes, right?
Yes, she was.
Referring to?
I actually thought there was something else before Debut for some weird reason. I know it's called Debut. I'm well aware of that fact. But I was under the impression that she had like a Warren Zevon kind of thing going on where she had like a second album. Yeah. Glinglow from 1990 was her first solo album. She was like 12 or 14 or some shit when she did it. Yeah, Glinglow.
Who released that?
Who released it? I'm looking at Spotify right now, so I'm not sure. This is from One Little Independent Records, according to the Spotify thing. So, yeah, very much a Warren Zevon thing where you're like, hey, I'm having a soft reboot of my debut album. And this time she's like, I'm going to call it Debut. I mean, I've never listened to Glinglow. Most people are unaware of Glinglow.
Honest to God, I've never heard of it. It doesn't even come up in, I'm just top hit here on wiki bullshit, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's before Sugar Cube.
And One Little Independent used to be One Little Indian. It would have to be during, if not.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah,
like Sugar Cubes was early 90s, late 80s. She was a baby. She was
so
formed
young.
in 86, the Sugar Cubes, and disbanded in 92. So yeah, this was in the middle of that, I guess.
Yeah, it was during the Sugar Cubes. But debut came out.
Well,
yeah,
debut
you learned
studio
something.
album. Let's do that then.
That came out in what? Was it 93 or 94?
What are we talking about now?
The album that we're here to talk about.
We're
Debut.
talking about Glinglow.
Okay, so let's
got all
back up.
sidetracked. No, July 93. You were correct.
July 93. Okay.
And I said 94 for some reason.
Okay. So 93. Do you remember when you got into this album? I didn't know you were even a Bjork fan. Bjork. I got to stop
Bjork?
right there. Bjork is like the actual way you're supposed to pronounce it. So sometimes that does slip out of me, but ordinarily I will say Bjork because I'm an American.
I think colloquially.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think we know her as Bjork.
It's fine. Yeah, but I'm just making the caveat that I will probably say both because I think of her kind of as both. But anyways, when did you get into her?
I racked my brain to figure out when I got into her. I first heard her in around this time, 93, 94. I'm almost positive my older brother had this disc, and then maybe post. And I didn't get into her, though, until Blair Whiteman, a mutual friend, introduced me to her stuff. And I don't know. I don't know what it was, his adoration for her or just my own found. I was just like, oh, this is adorable. I love this. And so since about, I would say I was a latecomer, so I wasn't like on the ground running with her first, 3 albums. So like 97.
Okay.
Middle of high school, I was into her and then started backtracking. I'm like, oh, she was in a band. Oh, okay. And then in 2003, I was working actually same place when we lived together. Screenworks, one of my coworkers was really into Bjork and the Sugar Cubes. And so we had this like, hey, let's have lunch in the car and listen to this. So in 2003 to 5, I had this big resurgence of Bjork. I was like, yes, I'm into this. Like rocked the Sugar Cubes all the time. So yeah, I'm a huge fan.
I would say I've had kind of a similar experience with her where I was like aware of her for a long time. I remember being aware of the Sugar Cubes like on 120 Minutes and shit back in like 92.
Oh, damn.
And that kind of stuff, but not knowing who she was. But I remember when the video for Human Behavior came out, and that was the first thing that I saw or heard from her. I was like pretty taken by it. That video is fucking goofy and weird and awesome, and like it matches the song really well because it's also goofy and weird and awesome.
If you ever get close to a human and human behavior, be ready to get confused. And me and my head after, there's definitely no logic to human behavior, but yet so irresistible. And me and my fear can, and there is no more uncertainty.
It was one of those things where I was like, this stood up and it got my attention, and I liked her, but I didn't get the album. And then she kind of started routinely releasing stuff, and it was like a similar thing where I'd hear her on 89X, our local radio station. Well, really not our local radio station because they're out of Canada, but whatever.
Right.
The radio station that we all listen to. I'd hear her there, and I'd hear her on MTV in different places, and I'd hear her in movies and stuff. And I always liked what she was doing, but I just like never bought any of her albums. I just kept on kind of like being fine with just hearing the singles. And then probably around 2005 or so, roughly around the same time you were getting really back into her, I dived into Homogenic, I don't really know how it's pronounced, but that album, and got really obsessed with that album in particular and some of the stuff around there. And I kind of dipped backwards into Post, and I got into Post, but weirdly enough, I just never dug into Debut at all until the last half year or so as we plan to do this episode. So it's been fun getting into it.
I've definitely heard this album, but I don't know that I own this. But a lot of these are on her greatest hits album.
Oh, so you don't really have much of a connection with the album itself, like as it is, until we're listening to
No,
it recently?
I do. I didn't buy it then. I have it.
Oh, okay.
When everything went digital is when I had it. That's when like 05, that's what I'm saying. This big resurgence, and I went out and got it all. Can't say I bought it all. I got it.
Sure.
I attained it all via however we did things. Well, shit, it's almost 20 years, I'm sure. We can say this out loud that you and I emailed MP3s back for like a year
Oh, yeah.
to just
Yeah.
bulk our iTunes up and, sorry, bands.
Yeah, you'd buddy up with people and like bring an external hard drive like over to their house and like swap shit back and forth and that kind of stuff. I remember a lot of the Bjork stuff that I got because I was living in Ipsy, but like really close to the Ann Arbor border. So I would go to the Ann Arbor Public Library and just fucking raid their CD section and rip all that shit to my computer, because as you can imagine, the Ann Arbor Public Library had a pretty dope selection of albums. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I did rock this album, but early on when I did hear it first, it's obviously electro pop kind of whole way through almost. So that wasn't really my bag.
It's a genre hopper though, right?
Well, it is. It's a huge genre hopper, and I had no idea. There's a ton of jazz in here, and now I know that's why my older brother would have had this album. He got me into all my jazz backgrounds. So listening to this now as I'm older and I can appreciate things, back when I first heard it, I was, metal, punk, a little bit of hip hop, and that was pretty much it. Just don't even bother giving me any of that bullshit, none of this, dance club music kind of stuff. But now, it's not nostalgic to me, so I can sit down and go, oh, okay, I gotcha.
So what would you say is your favorite track on this album?
My favorite track is, I gotta go with my gut. It's Venus as a Boy.
His sweet jazz, a sense of humor suggests exciting sounds. His fingers, they focus on her touches. He's Venus as a boy.
This song, every time I hear it, will get stuck in my head for about 3 weeks. Just out of nowhere. He believes in a beauty. It's absolutely my favorite. And I think it's one of her more just thoroughly melodic without much going on to kind of muddle it, if you kind of know what I'm saying. Because there's a lot going on where the music kind of crowds her out a bit at times, and that was a big problem with the Sugar Cubes too. Probably why she went solo, like a guy just going in the background going, I drip my coffee on the floor, and then she comes in with this gorgeous swooning melody, and it's like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, that's my favorite. It's yours?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's my favorite as well.
He believes in a beauty until now he's exploring the taste of it around sun. So watching it, he sets up the beauty in her. He's Venus, a Venus as a boy.
I remember hearing it in the Leon the Professional soundtrack is where I would typically have heard it the most. And in the past few months, it's really been one that I particularly love driving to. Like the other day I was driving, through Detroit, and it's like sunset and winter, and listening to that song and just driving by all these cool buildings and shit. It just feels very cinematic, I guess. It's a cinematic kind of song, which is probably why it was used for that montage in that movie. Probably something else going on, talking about the infatuation that the character's having with a ridiculously older man as well, but that's neither here nor there. I do love the lyrics of this song. It's interesting. I like the kind of role reversal that's taking place with it. overall, just the vibe of it is just really lofty, ethereal.
Until I kind of really was listening to it. I maybe had questioned it before, but I'm like, what's she talking about? Venus is a boy. Get the hell out of here. But then I'm reading the lyrics, and I'm like, oh man. So this guy is treating her as a woman knows how to treat a guy or a woman. Am I getting that right? Venus is a boy, like this innocent. I don't know. The fact that you say it's about an older man, I don't see that.
No. I'm talking about in Leon the Professional.
Oh, Leon the Professional.
It's under playing as a montage for Natalie
That freaked
Portman.
me out there for a second. I'm like, oh, okay.
No. I don't know what the fucking song's about.
I've never seen that movie, by the way. Full confession.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry.
surprising.
Yeah,
I
it is.
forgive.
Weird premise. Sorry, I can't get into it.
That's understandable. No, what I mean is well, exactly what the fucking title says. Venus is a boy. So I just kind of like that she's singing like she's inspired by the body and person of this guy and how it's like a work of art to her. I just think that's cool. And that's about it. But I do think that she is definitely one of the artists that myself, I don't ever read the lyrics of her shit. I don't want to read the lyrics of her shit the same way I wouldn't typically read like Jeremy Enig's lyrics. I just kind of I just want the voice to do whatever it's doing.
Yeah.
And however I interpret it, that's fine. I'll get some of the lyrics dead on. I'll get some of them way the fuck off. And it doesn't matter either way. I'm just, along for the ride.
You're right, because, it is all about her. Yeah, she could be like early Beatles, Paul McCartney singing gibberish, about watermelons or something. I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But it is weird because there is a message, and it's like, it's about guys. I think she'd probably be a nightmare to date. She's probably like super intensely into you in that moment. She's maybe on a drug or whatever's going on at this club she's in.
Well, maybe 30 years ago.
Well, right, when she's a younger one, and if she was in a band that young, I don't know, man. Probably playing some clubs, probably getting into drinking a little bit younger, 15.
Oh,
even.
really?
What?
Is that something
know.
that anybody had a problem with? Anyway, I want to know what this high horse is that you're climbing up onto about why you wouldn't date Bjork in 1993. What's happening right now? What are you talking about?
Wait, what are we talking about?
I don't know, but it's being recorded.
Anyway, her big message here is just throughout love, violently happy. All of her songs have just, that's it. Well, not all of them.
There's a vibrance to the album, I'd say, like a very much a life-affirming kind of feel going through it. It feels like something written by a young person who is wise beyond their years. Again, that's just the lyrics, not just what she's saying. That's partly it, but also just the overall approach to songwriting and the genre blending again, and like the choices of instrument. All of it, it kind of speaks of a person who is got a lot more years under the belt than she would have at that time, and a lot more interesting things going on in her head, and then certainly what was going on at that age.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, a lot of her stuff revolves around, like, there's a party going on in the back of some of the songs, and she tries to get away from it a lot of the times.
Yeah, in particular, there's more to life than this, right? Which,
Yep.
The way she says Jetto Blaster, it's just, I love it so much. Bring my little Jetto Blaster. You bring it. We'll have a good time, Bjork.
That is upon further, I don't want to do back to back here, but that's my underrated, dude, of the album. I had no idea
that's fine.
that that song hit. Like, there's this party going on. She's looking around the room, probably as a teen, almost probably going, this is insane. Look at these fucking idiots.
Come on, girl. Sneak out of this party. It's getting boring. There's more to life than this. It's still early morning. We could go down to the harbor and jump between the boats and see the sun come up.
I love when they close that door.
Yeah.
We could make a boat and sneak off to this island. I could bring my little ghetto blaster. There's more to life than this.
It's weird that it says live on Spotify, but it's not live. It's not any different from the album track.
You sent me the album version. I'm like, I listened to it. I'm like, oh, it sounds the exact same.
So I don't know why they labeled it live, because I kept waiting for some difference. But when she shuts that door and gets all quiet and she gets into her internal monologue of like, I could go steal a fucking boat.
And her voice is so isolated.
Oh, it's so awesome, dude. And then she goes back out. Oh, man. And then, before the end, we got to get the first bread of the morning. She's so fucking intense, dude. I love it.
Yeah, and, like you say, like, she's bored with this party. Like, why do this when we could go, like, run around in the docks and shit?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the mood of the whole album. Yeah, I agree. This is a really underrated song. Well, let me back up, because I don't have that frame of reference in terms of appreciation. But yeah, no, I agree. It's a really cool song. It's a fun song. And it's fun to have like a party song that is also anti-party at the same time, which that just sounds like Bjork in such a classic kind of iconoclastic sort of way that she is, I'm going to do this thing and not do this thing at the same time.
Exactly. She's like, I have to be here for some reason. Because like in Crying, same thing. It's that 90s disco beat. Well, 90s disco.
Like house. Yeah, it's like house music,
but,
right?
Yeah.
Very 90s.
Yeah, early house stuff before it starts getting drops kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But Crying, she's in a crowded city. She just wants to be alone. And I fucking love that line. How does she say, there's no one here but people everywhere?
It's a great
such
line.
a good line.
Out of locomotives, all alone. There's no one here, and people everywhere. Crying 'cause I need you, crying I can feel you.
Great delivery too, and I love the imagery that she's bringing to mind of a lone traveler in the city jumping from train to train. I lived in Philly for several years and took the train, took the subway constantly. Then I was always by myself, and I'd always have my headphones in. Back when I wore headphones, because they had wires. Now they don't have wires anymore. They just fall out of my weirdly shaped ears. So there's no reason for me to fucking even try it anymore. I miss headphones. Anyways, so I used to love doing that too. It just it makes me feel like that feeling that I used to get when I would just be in my zone, traveling, surrounded by people, but completely alone, which is not the worst feeling in the world.
No, I like that feeling.
It depends on how I'm feeling,
I did it for years in LA.
Yeah, you did.
Is that your underrated then too?
No, I don't have it underrated because I didn't listen to the album until the last few months, so I don't really feel like I have a place to say that. I'll say my favorite on it, but I'm not gonna, say anything else about it. I'll just listen to your.
Well, what is your
take on
favorite?
it.
I already gave mine away.
I already gave mine away too, and you weren't listening to
Oh
me.
yeah, it was the same one. You don't have like a back. You don't have like a backup, or we can mix it up. We have to talk about more than 3 tracks.
We've already talked about my backup too. I'd say my backup was probably "There's More to Life Than This," which is funny because I'm not usually like a pop music fan. I'll tell you what, there is one other song in particular that I wanted to touch on, but let's first talk about your least favorite, in case the one I want to touch on is your least favorite. And
well,
that's
no,
possible.
I tell you what, I have 2 least favorites.
Well, I'm going to ask you to pick one because
Well,
it's hard to talk about 2 songs at once.
The problem is, one needs to be one of our least favorites.
Well, tell me what your least favorite is, and we'll just go from there.
It's got to be Airplane.
I can
Okay. Why?
I don't like how it starts with the sour horns. I think they sound kind of saxophony. And then it's got a jazzy feel. Oh boy, I might be going too hard. But it just sounds like Human Behavior to me. Like a old
Okay.
demo version of Human Behavior with shitty saxophones, like jazzy saxophones.
I'm with you on that one. I noticed that as well.
There's a cool bridge, I think, in that song. That's maybe why I wrote down Jazz Club. But outside that, I think it's just a poorer effort on the album. Like I said, it just sounds like it was an early, I want to quote, melody. It's not really a melody because she kind of sings in a way, especially on Human Behavior. So, it's like Human Behavior Junior. And if I had to pick a least fave, I could have gotten rid of it.
I could definitely hear the elements of Human Behavior in it too. I noticed that as well. I'm like, oh, there's some similarities between these two songs, which usually one of them wouldn't necessarily make it on the album if you have that going on. But hey, if Nirvana can get away with it, Bjork can get away with it. It's a decent song. The song that I wanted to bring attention to, which is not my least favorite on the album at all, it's just one that I find really interesting, is the last song, the Anchor song. I think that's a really pretty song.
I live by the ocean, and during the night I dive into it. Down to the bottom.
I love that song.
It's an awesome song, and I like that it's like a older sister to Hyper Ballad, it seems like, in terms of theme, right? Like, there's definitely some similarities, I feel like.
Well, this has also, it brings in, she's got kind of a loose concept going through all this. She talks about boats, and you've got that waves, and to end the album, I love that imagery where she's singing as an anchor. It's fucking poetry at its finest, and it's a beautiful song.
And the horns are,
I love it.
like, that arrangement is so memorable. It's so, like, it just sticks with me. So to have it be the last song of the album, I think is a great call, because as I walk away from this album, that's what's stuck in my head. It just kind of continues echoing.
And that's why I picked Aeroplane as my least favorite too, because what is it called? I didn't even write down the name. Sorry. Anchor.
The Anchor song.
Yeah. It has kind of that same sour saxophone notes played.
It does.
But I don't mind it like I did in Aeroplane for some reason.
It works for this one, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are some similarities, you're right, between these songs as well, but mostly just because they're heavy horn songs. So,
well, I don't know. I went back and forth. If you go back and forth, though, horns are awfully similar. Aeroplane's just played with a little more style, I think, in between notes.
Yeah, I kind of took it as a refrain of Aeroplane, I think, in a way.
Yep, and we can go with that with the whole Waves thing, because that song, Aeroplane, is transitioned from Waves out of One Day. So
yeah,
I love this album, just listening all the way through again, just like, wow, I missed all that the first time. I was just into my favorite 4 songs or whatever I like I get this electronic pop shit. Give me Bjork's voice. But this whole album has just a really great flow, and it doesn't feel like 48 minutes or whatever it is.
No, it does blow by pretty quick. And yeah, I liked the couple of songs that I knew from it, because, back in the day on Napster and shit, I had a few random songs downloaded of hers, and the songs I had were the songs I knew from this album, Big Time Sensuality. And
that's definitely my runner-up for favorite, Big Time Sensuality, but also runner-up for, like, kind of my least favorite, just this version of it. Have you heard the Fluke mini mix version?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. Whatever was the single version was the version I'm familiar with.
I don't know. So is the one on the album familiar to you as this?
Yeah, it sounds like it to me.
Yeah. Somebody redid it, and during my resurgence, that's when I heard it, like 03 or something, whatever. And it's fucking awesome. Check it out.
Yeah, it's a fun song too, and another one that's kind of like way more techno-y than I would ordinarily be into then or now. But I think that's partly why her stuff works so well, is because she takes big risks with her songwriting and changes things up on top of the, absolutely angelic and incredible voice that she has. And to go back to your earlier point, 'cause I didn't get to quite glom on with that. Yeah, I agree. This album really works as a cohesive whole thing. It very much has a consistent feeling to it that carries throughout. It's very, again, like, comes across like someone this is not their debut album, for real,
right.
or sophomore, like whatever. Like, it comes across like someone that has been crafting albums for decades.
And yeah, she had, but yeah, this, for that age, Jesus, man, this is pretty brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
Follow her to this day. She's fucking awesome, man. While we're on Big Time Sensuality, real quick, that little grunt squeak and all the emotion she pours into this song, so fucking brilliant.
She's someone that just is so just like on fire.
Yes, she is.
You can tell
she's violently whatever.
Yeah, she's got a lot of energy. Did you say there was a second song that you wanted to shit on a little bit? I say it like it's not my fucking segment, like it's not my conceit to talk about the least favorite songs in the album. But
well, I did put Violently Happy is like kind of my least favorite. Goes on a little long, I think, for what it is, but I don't know.
I guess then in my case, I'm just curious, and I wouldn't say it's the least good song on the album. I find it really intriguing, but it stands out one way or the other. How do you feel about Like Someone in Love?
It works for me because it's transitioned into.
Yeah.
That's the best transition of the album, coming out of There's More to Life Than This.
So Like Someone in Love is not a original song for her. There's a reason why it sounds like it's from a 1940s musical, because it's a fucking 1944 Dinah Shore song. So, yeah. Been done a few times.
Or Jimmy Van Heusen with lyrics by Johnny Burke.
Those are the actual songwriters, yeah. So that's interesting that she would choose this of all. Interesting. And then according to, while we're talking about looking at Wikipedia, I hate it when my show turns into Wikipedia, the podcast, but apparently the album version of There's More to Life Than This was recorded live at the Milk Bar toilets. That's literally what it says. Live at the Milk Bar toilets. I'm not kidding. Milk Bar is a hyperlink. Toilets is not.
Oh no.
People, make your own choices on Wikipedia. Find out what Milk Bar is, but be confused about toilets as we are.
Milk Bar? Like Clockwork Orange?
Yeah, I guess.
So they're doing hard-ass meth drugs in
No,
milk.
I don't think it's taking place in a fictional setting. I just think that it's a bar named after the book and the movie.
Oh wait, the Moloko bars were not an actual thing that's made up?
I can't tell if you're being serious right now.
I am. Well, it's not Cinema 9. I don't have to be embarrassed by not knowing
No, it's
my
okay, but
Clockwork Orange lore. I could barely read the
No,
fucking words
well,
in the book itself.
I guess there is a history of alcoholic milk with Mongolians and yak milk and shit. So I see where you're coming from. But to my knowledge, it's a thing for the movie. Anywho, is there anything else you wanted to say about Bjork or this album? You never saw her live, did you?
No. I'm trying to think if I even would have had a chance. I mean,
I can't think
she plays out in Europe all the time, probably.
Well, she's European.
I know of. She does. Well, right, but I'm not of means to be going to Europe to catch Bjork. And at this point, what I've seen of her performances, it's almost like I'd just go to Vegas and watch Cirque du Soleil, because it's Cirque du Soleil without the acrobatic shit. It's just a bunch of weird costumes
with better music.
Oh, yeah. Well, I saw the Beatles. Love. It was great.
She's so prolific now. I'd almost be afraid a little bit to see her live, because she's got a lot of albums that I've listened to and a lot of albums I've never listened to. And she's got a couple albums that I've listened to. I've been like, oh, that's like a kind of experimental,
Medulla.
Oh, okay. So you've heard it.
Let me do it an entire album with just vocals, which is yeah, go for it, man. That's cool, but I'm not gonna listen to that a lot.
Not my favorite. Yeah,
just literally once and go, okay, I see.
That's
and I bought it too, like an asshole. I was like, yeah, fucking Bjork, yeah, click.
I burned it from the Ann Arbor Public Library.
Yeah,
I won that round. All right.
Did we cover everything? We got them all?
I think so. Yeah, we talked about them all.
What was you never said your least favorite, though. You had one and you didn't.
I'm not picking one because I don't have enough time spent with this album. I didn't grow up with this album.
You can't say this song is my least favorite on this album as of this listen.
I don't feel like it's fair, really. I mean, if there is something that really stuck out to me and this is trash, but there is nothing that I feel like this is trash that I would say that about. So I'm not going to pick one because I don't feel like it's my place to. I'm not a fan of the album. I mean, I like the album, but it's not this is your album. It's not my album. You know what I mean? I mean, I've liked it, listening to it. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to listen to it again. And I like Bjork. Ask me again in 5 years or something. I think I might feel qualified to say. But at this point, I don't really want to say.
All right, fine.
I'll tell you what. I will give you this critique about the album. I do think there's a bit of a slump in the middle. You mentioned Aeroplane. That and the songs on either side of it, I do kind of feel like things kind of start to blend a little bit around there and not be particularly standout when there's a lot of other really standout songs in the album. I'll say that.
Yeah, from One Day to somewhere midway Violently Happy, I'd say you're absolutely right. There is this weird lull.
Yeah, the first half of the album is stronger than the second half, in my opinion, but it's still a good album overall and strong.
It is, but yeah, once you dig into that end, boy, there's a lot to be found in there. The Anchor. Oh my God.
Yeah, the Anchor song really brings things back.
You almost feel like she feels like an anchor sometimes. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Dating her would be a fucking nightmare because she seems so into whatever the moment is. And then she's just going to shit you out in a song and move on. She's going to be totally in love with you for 3 days. And then she's going to be on to the next thing. And I don't know. Maybe she feels like she's an anchor.
I have no idea. I have no idea what her personal life is like.
You've never read her lyrics or whatever.
I don't even know what her sexuality is. I don't care. I
just be guy anything. It doesn't matter. Just she seems into whatever in the moment. Just by her lyrics and by her energy, I think she puts into just singing. I think it's got to be multiplied 1 million times just in daily life. She wakes up in love.
All right. Well, as you know, I always end the show with something completely unrelated to what we've been talking about, usually pretty unrelated. I have a little bit of a game show I've figured out for you today.
Okay.
Prefaced on, tell the good people, what is the classic nickname that you had growing up? This is not the trivia question. You should know this yourself.
Well, there's a few of them. There was
Come on, you know the main one.
Some people called me Hulk. Some people called me
No.
Minsky. Some people called me Hockey Temper Hero.
That's the one.
Okay.
Hockey Temper. That's the one I've never heard you called Hulk in my life.
Oh, it was Jenny Callahan used to call me Hulk.
Okay.
Because I'd be like, and then, ugh.
I know you as Hockey Temper. Okay. And now we found it. All right.
Okay,
So
what is
the
this
game,
hockey-related questions?
the game I have for you is called Goon or Guru. I want you to tell me, I'm going to give you a name, and you tell me if this person is a classic kind of like beat the shit out of somebody hockey player, even though I don't necessarily get a lot of goals, Goon, or is this like a meditation, self-help, mindfulness person who teaches you how to like connect with your deeper inner self and find peace? So I'm going to read you a name.
Going to be okay.
You probably won't know any of them. You might know one or two. You tell me if this person is a
Ty Domi.
Ty Domi is what? A goon or a guru?
He's a goon from the
He is a
Toronto
goon.
Maple Leafs.
From the Toronto Maple Leafs. He had 3,515 minutes of time in the penalty box in his career of over 1,000 games, according to BleacherReport.com. Ty Domi, you already knew that one. See? I knew you'd know some of these.
Oh, yeah. Pause life right now. Go to YouTube and just look up Ty Domi, Bob Probert fights, and you will have days worth of rabbit holes. Those two would duke it out. Short dude. Ty Domi's kid plays now. He's fucking awesome, and he's just a
Bob Probert
dude.
was the next question. He is also a goon. You are correct. Good job.
The Red Wings goon. And a Chicago Blackhawks goon.
Yep, you got 2 out of 9. Bob Probert was
2 out
the
of
Red Wings
9?
goon.
There's 9. There's 7 more of these people?
Do you want me to stop?
All right, keep going. No. Of course not.
So he had 3,300 minutes in the penalty box in 935 games. Old Bob. All right.
Died on a boat.
Mark Coleman.
Mark Coleman.
Goon or guru?
Sounds like a guru.
You are correct. He is a mindfulness teacher and the author of From Suffering to Peace and Peace with Your Mind. Very good. Jeff Warren.
Jeff Warren. Sounds like a guru.
Jeff Warren is a guru. He's a meditation teacher and co-writer of Meditation for Fidgety Skeptics and the co-creator of the 10% Happier app. You're on a roll here.
Fidgety Skeptic.
Yeah. Jack Cornfield with a K. Cornfield.
Jack Cornfield. Well,
Yeah.
that's an awfully hockey name, so I'm going to go with Goon.
That is incorrect. Jack Cornfield is a founding teacher of the Insight Meditation Society in Massachusetts and the Spirit Rock Meditation Center in California and author of 16 books with over 2 million copies sold. Dale Hunter.
Dale Hunter's a goon.
Dale Hunter is a goon. He played for the Quebec Nordiques, the Washington Capitals.
Before they went to
Avalanche.
Minnesota. Oh, yeah.
He has had the most time in the penalty box at 3,563 minutes in the penalty box. That is like 2.5 days with almost 1,500, with over 1,400 games. Just living in the penalty box.
Well, it's a different time. That's why the movie Slapshot was made.
Joseph Goldstein.
Joseph Goldstein. That's a guru.
That is a guru. He is another co-founder of the Insight Meditation Society in Massachusetts and one of the first American Vipassana teachers. Whatever the fuck that is, a form of meditation, apparently. It's 2,500 years old. I know that much because I Googled it, and that's what I learned. All right, very good. You have gotten almost all of them correct. You've just got a couple left. Eckhart Tolle.
That's a goon.
That is a self-help guru promoted by none other than Oprah Winfrey in the 1990s, author of the bestseller The Power of Now.
So if I've never... See, I went against my gut. If I've never heard of them, they're a guru, and I fucked up.
And lastly, we have Dave Brown.
Dave Brown. Old Red Wing goon.
Also the Flyers, the Edmonton Oilers, the San Jose Sharks. He played in the 1980s with 1,789 minutes in the penalty box. Very good. You only got 2 wrong.
Against my goddamn gut.
Good.
Yeah, because I...
7 out of 9 is great.
You'd switch it up. You went 3s in a row. It was weird.
Yeah, gotta keep you on your toes. I do craft quizzes as part of my job for a living, for kids and stuff. And,
Oh, you do.
when I do multiple
You
choice.
are. I know. I wish you'd run a trivia somewhere. I'd go. Not at your house necessarily, but we've done that. You've been very astute at it.
Didn't take off.
Well, it's hard to get 3 of us together a lot of the time. Try to get 6. All right, man. I appreciate you having me back.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming back on, man. It's awesome. I'm glad we got to talk Bjork. She is a big deal, so it's cool to get her on the show and have some representation. You're always welcome back. So.
Oh, you know what I'm doing next.
Actually, you're right. I do know what you're doing next. You want to go ahead and tell the people?
I can tell the people.
It'll be a while. We're getting outside the lines of 93, 94, but which album will we do when you come back?
It is, but we're going to do Between Heaven and Hell, right?
Yep, Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell by Social Distortion. That'll be the next album that you and I do together in a few months. Cool, man. All right, well, thanks again.
Thanks, brother.
Awesome talking with my buddy Christian. I love that man. He's a good friend. You too, person listening, could come on the show if you so desire. All you got to do is email me at 9394podcast@gmail.com. I am also on Blue Sky. You could find me there. You could talk about any album you want from the era that I haven't already covered from 93 or 94. Perhaps if you want like a little memory jog. You remember this little ditty here?
The more you ignore me, the closer I get. You're wasting your time. The more you ignore me, the closer I get. You're wasting your time. I will be in the bar. My head on the bar. I am now a central part of your mind's landscape, whether you care or do not. Yeah, I've made up your mind.
That's The More You Ignore Me, the Closer I Get from Morrissey from his 1994 album Vohal and I. Were you a fan of that album? Perhaps you were. Perhaps you'd like to come on and talk about him and his music. Or maybe just his music. It doesn't have to be Morrissey or Maz, as some people who supposedly say. Have I ever met anyone that actually calls him that? Anyway, any album from the era that I haven't already done. 93, 94, just email me at 9394podcast@gmail.com. Or you could just, say hi. I always ask that you rate and review the show. Give me some 5 stars, please, on Apple or on Spotify. It helps the show get more listeners, which is always cool. You could also, pass the show on to other people. Be like, hey, you love this album? This guy's got a whole fucking episode on this album that you love. Check it out. Something along those lines would be helpful. I mentioned recently that good buddy of the show, Dustin Lintz, is going to be hosting another 93-94 event in Ferndale, Michigan this summer that I'm going to be playing an acoustic set at. I believe Christian will be too. I mean, we've talked about it, so I think he'll be doing it. So I'm getting excited about that. And again, more details forthcoming once I know them. All right, we will leave it there for now. I appreciate you as always, dear listener. Can't do this without you. Take care of yourself, all right? Bye-bye. 9394, a music podcast with Travis Roy, is a labor of love. It is not and never will be monetized. Please don't sue.